You what?
Hello.
Roll the dice.
It's been decades since Friday hit theaters, but this 1995 classic still keeps fans laughing and surprising them. From behind-the-scenes antics to surprising casting choices, there's more to the film than meets the eye. What little details do you think flew under the radar? And could spotting them totally change the way fans look at Friday today? Here are 20 weird and fascinating facts about Friday that even the biggest fans might not know. Number 20. Shot in 20 days. It's quite shocking that Friday was brought to life in just 20 days on a modest $3.5 million budget. The film's production unfolded along 126th Street, nestled between Normandie and Halldale Avenues in south-central Los Angeles, the very block where the director, Gary Gray, spent his youth. Rather than using polished studio backlots, Gray chose authenticity. He transformed his own neighborhood into the movie's vivid backdrop, capturing the real look and rhythm of the community he knew best. Every corner of that street carried a story, and Gray used it to give Friday its grounded, relatable energy. His childhood home even makes a subtle appearance on screen, visible in the background during one of the movie's most memorable scenes, when Debo punches Red for daring to ask for his bike back. Gary's creative thinking totally saved the day, but he also popped up in a tiny role that most fans probably missed. It was a pretty strange part for a director, but somehow it worked perfectly. What role was this? Number 19. Gray's subtle on-screen moment. In addition to directing Friday, F. Gary Gray also slipped into the film for a brief but memorable cameo. He briefly appeared as the man mopping the store floor, a small role that showed his hands-on approach to filmmaking. Though his time on camera lasted only a few seconds, Gray's presence adds a touch of authenticity to the bustling neighborhood scenes. Aside from his creative touch and those cool little cameo moments, Gary's pretty much a jack of all trades. And the next fact just proves it even more. Number 18. From music videos to movie magic. Before becoming a renowned filmmaker, Gary began his career behind the camera, directing music videos that defined the 1990s. One of his earliest triumphs was TLC's Waterfalls, a visual story that earned the 1995 MTV Video Music Award for Best Video of the Year. His creative eye also shaped the look and feel of hip-hop culture through Coolio's Fantastic Voyage and Ice Cube's It Was a Good Day. The latter project led to a lasting partnership between Gray and Ice Cube, eventually leading to their collaboration on Friday. Building on that momentum, Gray transitioned smoothly into feature films, directing a string of acclaimed titles that showcased his range, from the intense heist drama Set It Off to the thriller The Negotiato. His versatility continued with A Man Apart, The Italian Job, Be Cool, and Law-Abiding Citizen. Even after conquering Hollywood, Gray never lost touch with his music roots and eventually returned to direct Outkast's unforgettable Ms. Jackson video. While Friday continues to be a masterpiece, would you have ever connected it to the TV show Leave It to Beaver? Number 17. A modern Leave It to Beaver. When asked why Friday continues to resonate with audiences after nearly 3 decades, director F. Gary offered a simple answer. In an interview with HollywoodChicago.com, he explained that the film's lasting impact is due to its universal relatability. No matter where you're from, you can identify with those characters: the bully, the neighborhood beauty, and the friend who always finds trouble. Gray believes Friday will remain a masterpiece because it captures the everyday activities of ordinary neighborhoods. To him, the story isn't just about a day in south-central Los Angeles, it's about human connection and growing up surrounded by familiar faces and familiar struggles. The simplicity of the film's setting allows audiences to see pieces of their own lives reflected on screen. Drawing an unexpected but fitting comparison, Gray likened Friday to the 1950s sitcom Leave It to Beaver. Both shows explore the same universal neighborhood dynamics, though through vastly different cultural lenses. While Leave It to Beaver represented the polished idealism of suburban America, Friday portrayed the humor and heart of urban life. While Friday brought fans some creative storytelling and real-life vibes, it also gave one actor a chance to shine. So who got the spotlight this time? Number 16. Michael Clarke Duncan's big screen debut. Friday was the first movie role for Michael Clarke Duncan, who later became one of Hollywood's most recognizable and commanding actors. Before stepping onto the set to play the intimidating Debo's sidekick, Duncan had built experience in smaller, behind-the-scenes roles. He appeared in commercials and worked as a security guard for some of the biggest names in entertainment, including Will Smith, Martin Lawrence, and the late notorious B.I.G. His role in Friday was brief but impactful. In the memorable scene where Debo knocks Red out, Duncan is seen playing craps with Smokey, showcasing a natural presence and imposing physique that immediately caught the audience's attention. Even in these early moments, he demonstrated a screen presence that defined his career, as seen in films like The Green Mile and Armageddon. The next fact is a real shocker, something most fans would never have seen coming. Number 15. Debo's real-life inspiration. The menacing character of Debo in Friday wasn't purely fictional. He was inspired by real-life figures from South Central Los Angeles. Wrestler-turned-actor Tommy "Tiny" Lister Jr., who brought the notorious bike-stealing bully to life on screen, modeled his portrayal after Eugene "Big U" Henley, a former Crips leader. Lister studied Henley's presence, demeanor, and intensity to capture the fearsome aura that made Debo unforgettable. Henley himself had a tumultuous past, including a 13-year prison sentence. Yet life after incarceration took a remarkable turn. Today, he channels his energy into positive endeavors, serving as a music event promoter and leading a community organization dedicated to youth empowerment. Speaking of unexpected choices, the role of Smokey in Friday almost went to someone else entirely. Number 14. Chris Tucker wins the role of Smokey. The role of Smokey in Friday could have gone to a number of talented comedians. Chris Rock and Tommy Davidson were both considered, reflecting the high-caliber comedic talent circulating in Hollywood at the time. Yet director F. Gary Gray had his sights set on someone less established, Chris Tucker. Chris, who was a rising comedian at the time, wasn't yet a household name. What caught Gray's attention was his remarkable ability to improvise. Unlike the more seasoned actors, Chris brought an unpredictable energy to the screen that perfectly suited Smokey's mischievous, fast-talking persona. Gray recognized that Smokey needed more than jokes. He needed a presence that could elevate every scene, turning casual moments into memorable comedic beats. Gray fought to secure Chris for the role, convinced that the actor's spontaneity and charisma would bring a unique vibrancy to the film. The gamble paid off. Chris's performance became one of Friday's most memorable elements, defining the character in a way that no script alone could achieve.
Hey, Dad. Ain't like you got shit to do tomorrow. You don't have to go to work.
But besides Chris's charm and energy, he kept the set buzzing so much that people sometimes couldn't handle it. So, how did he do it? Number 13. Chris Tucker's comedy disrupted the set. Chris Tucker's natural comedic energy took over the set of Friday. His humor was so infectious that crew members often struggled to keep a straight face during filming. Camera operators, grips, and other personnel found themselves laughing uncontrollably, making it nearly impossible to capture clean takes. The problem became so frequent that the production had to adapt. Crew members would take breaks or avert their gaze to avoid being drawn into Tucker's antics. Even seasoned professionals, trained to remain focused under pressure, were caught off guard by his spontaneous improvisations and expressive delivery. Every line and facial expression seemed to spark uncontrollable laughter, turning ordinary scenes into comedy in real time. But despite the laughter, there's something fans often get wrong about his performance, a rumor that affected his authenticity. Number 12. Chris Tucker wasn't high on set. Despite the rumors, Chris Tucker was not under the influence while filming Friday. In an interview with the AV Club, he clarified, "You can't make a movie high. No, I didn't stay in character, but it was a good movie to do. We had a lot of fun." Tucker's energy and comedic timing came from his natural talent, not substance, proving that his iconic performance as Smokey was purely skill and charisma. Even years later, the association between Smokey and marijuana continues to follow him. In 2012, he told The Guardian that fans still often approach him with offers of pot. They want to say they smoked with Smokey. "I'm so glad I don't smoke, because I'd be high all the time." However, Friday left its mark in more ways than one. One of the film's most lasting contributions? A little phrase that would go on to become a cultural staple. Number 11, Bye Felicia, originates from Friday. The now ubiquitous phrase "Bye Felicia" has its roots in Friday. In the film, the line was delivered by Ice Cube's character, Craig, to the overly needy and irritating Felicia.
Craig.
Bye, Felicia.
Y'all stench.
What began as a simple, annoyed dismissal on screen has evolved into one of the most recognizable ways to end a conversation with someone who is bothering you. Interestingly, even those involved in the film weren't immediately aware of the cultural impact the line would have. Regina King, who played Craig's sister Dana, admitted she didn't realize the phrase had entered popular culture until decades later. In interviews last fall, King expressed surprise that something so casual in the movie had become a permanent fixture in the language of a new generation. Interestingly, even the cast didn't realize just how big the line would become. Regina King only noticed its lasting impact decades later, and Felicia herself had her own surprising reaction to all the attention. Number 10. Felicia reacts to her iconic line. Angela Means Kaya, the actress who brought Felicia to life in Friday, was so caught off guard by the enduring popularity of a simple line that in 2013 she received a tiny residual check for $1.17. In a 2014 interview with Ebony, she reflected on the phenomenon with amusement. "The last thing I think me and Cube both thought was that this was going to be a part of America's pop culture 20 years later." Despite the unexpected fame, she remains good-natured about it. She enjoys the recognition and acknowledges the line's cultural impact, but she also keeps perspective. "I'm cool with the Bye Felicia thing," she joked, "but I tell my son, don't put it on my tombstone." While Angela Means Kaya has embraced the fame of her iconic line with good humor, her family was also making waves in an entirely different way. Number 9. Felicia's son scores big. Angela Kaya may be best known for a single iconic line, but her family is making headlines in a very different arena. Her son, Brad Kaya, has carved out his own path to fame on the football field. Last season, he served as the starting quarterback for the University of Miami Hurricanes, one of college football's most storied programs. Brad's performance didn't go unnoticed. His consistent play earned him the prestigious ACC Rookie of the Year award. The accolade recognized his talent and impact on the team during a competitive season. But while he was making headlines on the field, Friday was also leaving its mark in a very different arena, the music world. Number 8. Friday's soundtrack. Hits number 1. The Friday soundtrack didn't just complement the film, it became a cultural milestone on its own. Upon release, it soared to the top of the Billboard charts, fueled by Dr. Dre's hit single, "Keep Their Heads Ringin'." which quickly earned Gold certification. The soundtrack remained at number 1 for 2 weeks before Hootie and the Blowfish's Cracked Rear View claimed the spot, but its impact was already undeniable. Ice Cube, who curated much of the music, was particularly excited about including Rick James's classic Mary Jane. Despite its fame, the song had never before appeared in a film. You usually don't get the Isley Brothers and a fresh Dr. Dre song, Cube told BuzzFeed. It was a really special labor of love. And speaking of Cube, his character Craig had a little nod to his past that fans might have spotted. Number 7. Doughboy and Craig share the same look. Ice Cube's character, Craig, carries a subtle visual connection to his earlier work. In a deliberate nod to his iconic role as Darren Doughboy Baker in Boys and the Hood, Craig's first scene sees him rolling out of bed in a black shirt, shorts, high white socks, and sneakers. The outfit mirrors the clothing Doughboy wore in the final scene of Boys in the Hood, creating a visual bridge between the two characters. That wardrobe nod wasn't just for show, it connected Craig to Cube's earlier work and added a clever layer for fans to catch. And even years later, Cube himself can't help but laugh at the film. Number 6. Ice Cube still laughs at Friday. Decades after its release, Ice Cube was recently spotted cracking up while watching it on a plane with his 21 Jump Street co-stars Jonah Hill and Channing Tatum. Though he claimed the viewing was for research and for brainstorming ideas for a possible 4th installment of the Friday series, Cube couldn't hide his amusement. "I was only watching it to think of ideas, but the Shah Chiti was making me laugh. It was funny. Even for someone intimately involved in its creation, the comedic beats still land perfectly. But while Cube has stayed connected to the series, not everyone from the original cast returned for the sequels." Number 5. Chris Tucker opts out of the sequels. Despite the enduring popularity of Friday and his iconic role as Smokey, Chris Tucker chose not to return for the film's sequels. When asked about his decision, he told the New York Times, "People are loving it, and why mess with it when people love it? Let that just live on." Even though Chris Tucker passed on the sequels to let Smokey's legend stand, the character wasn't gone for good. Years later, plans were set in motion to bring both Smokey and Tucker back. Number 4. A reunion. After Chris Tucker opted out of the Friday sequels, Mike Epps stepped in to fill the gap, portraying the character Ray Ray in Next Friday and Friday After Next. However, Ice Cube never forgot the original dynamic that made Smokey so iconic. Recently, Cube revealed that he had written both Chris Tucker and Smokey back into the script, hoping to reunite audiences with the character who helped define the franchise. Despite the excitement surrounding the potential return, the project has been trapped in development hell for years. While fans eagerly anticipate the continuation, industry delays and the complexities of reassembling the original cast have stalled progress. Number 3. The disappointing Friday. Paycheck. Friday launched several careers, but its modest $3.5 million budget meant actor salaries were limited. Faison Love, who played the memorable drug dealer Big Worm, later revealed that he was paid only $2,500 for his role in the original film. The disclosure sparked minor controversy among fans and media. Despite the attention, Love made it clear he held no resentment over his paycheck. In interviews, he described the sum as the price of admission to a game, viewing his participation as an opportunity rather than a financial transaction. For him, the experience and exposure far outweighed the initial pay, and he expressed gratitude for being part of a film that would become a beloved cultural touchstone. And speaking of the film itself, Friday isn't just memorable for its cast. It's also sparked plenty of conversation about its mature content. Number 2. Content considerations for Friday. As with many films in the hood comedy genre, Friday has attracted discussion around its mature content. The movie features extensive profanity, depictions of drug use, particularly marijuana, and occasional scenes of violence. While these elements are integral to the film's authentic portrayal of South Central Los Angeles life, they have led critics and some viewers to recommend it primarily for mature audiences. Content wasn't the only hurdle Friday had to clear before making its mark. Let's take a look at some challenges you probably didn't know about. Number 1. Bringing Friday to life. Ice Cube recently shared insights into the challenges of getting Friday off the ground.
Now, the weird thing is, Ice Cube, we could be related. Because, apparently...
Alongside co-writer DJ Pooh, Cube wanted to craft a lighter, comedic portrayal of everyday life in South Central Los Angeles, breaking away from the dominant hood film narratives that focused heavily on gang violence and tragedy. Their vision centered on humor and relatable neighborhood experience, aimed at showing that life in those communities could be funny and vibrant, not just dangerous. Despite their passion, studio executives were initially skeptical. They reportedly pushed for a more conventional, stereotype-driven film that leaned into the violence and grit audiences had come to expect from the genre Cube, and Pooh had to fight to maintain their vision, advocating for a story that balanced comedy with authentic, cultural moments. Their persistence ultimately paid off, resulting in a movie that resonated with audiences and became a beloved cult classic. Which behind-the-scenes fact about Friday surprised you the most? If you could step onto the set for a day, which scene would you want to be part of? Share your thoughts with us in the comments section. Remember to like, share, and subscribe for more. Also, click the next video showing on your screen. You will enjoy it.